Well, as South Africans battle stage 5 load shedding tonight, the UDM, that's the United Democratic Movement, is calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to address the nation on the power cuts. The party has also written to the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, requesting a debate. We're joined by the UDM Leader, Bantu Holomisa. General Holomisa, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Of course, you're taking this issue of a power crisis straight to Parliament, which is really one of the platforms that should be addressing it with a sense of urgency. What has been the response to your letter to the Speaker?
Well, they take their own time, as you know. But load shedding, as we know, has been continuing for more than a decade in this country. And unfortunately, comrades in corruption instead saw an opportunity to loot Eskom resources. Today, we are talking about 6 billion rands, which was benefited by the ANC through Hitachi and Chancellor House deal. So when we say the president must come and address, or the parliament must address this issue, we want some answers, because you are not told the truth here. But we are not going to waste your time tonight. But what I would like to say, this country, we must begin to talk about the energy mix we have. That is the coal, renewable energy, and nuclear energy. We are using nuclear here, for instance, in Cape Town. Why can't we do that in the meantime? I mean, for the last 2 decades, been talking about this load shedding. But on the other hand, people are making money out of this crisis. So we need some action from the president.
Let's talk about this action from the president. Depending on who you speak to, there literally be various solutions that are offered up. But beyond addressing the nation, what exactly would you want the president to say? Because if he's going to address the nation to tell us he's got confidence in Eskom, he's got confidence in the leadership and the board, it leaves us where we've been.
I'm challenging him now to talk about the nuclear energy, which we have a capacity to address this crisis we are in. Let us not be victims of the people who campaign from abroad to say, away with coal, away with nuclear, but in their backyard, in USA, Europe, China, Russia, they are using nuclear energy.
Let's talk about then the issue of the debate. Following a debate in Parliament, what further would you want to see happening?
We have, in fact, wrote a letter to the chairperson of the Committee on Public Enterprise to summon Eskom and the Minister of this department to be transparent on us, on the nation. So that one will be more detailed and will have more time than just having a debate for an hour. So we have written that letter this afternoon. It's with the person as I'm speaking.
Do you get the sense that South Africans are not being given full transparency on the status of our power grid?
They are not being given a true state. For instance, we read in the media that there's an element of sabotage, stealing of cables. Where is the crime security on those issues? The intelligence of the state. Who is behind this sabotage? Is it within the ruling party, or is it from outside? What's going on?
And General Holomisa, what are you most worried about now when it comes to the state of our power supply or lack thereof?
You see, in a study conducted in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, it was established that load shedding is costing the engineering industry alone in excess of 2 billion per week. So as of March this year, it is calculated that load shedding already causes a lost economic output of about 700 million a day. That is per stage and per day. So I read this from I think it was the engineering news. So anyone who is interested to check these figures. So the economy of the country is affected badly. That's why the rate of unemployment is going down. The small businesses are worse off. Think of a person who is operating, is running a funeral parlor. What that person is supposed to do under these circumstances.
Mr. Holomisa, just to wrap it up, you know, when you look at the role that Parliament has played overall, because much of what is happening now, the accountability, it really rests with Parliament. Do you think that Parliament has been playing a significant enough role when it comes to oversight over Eskom, its plans, meeting of its targets, and truly holding the leadership of that institution to account?
If you were to go to the minutes of Parliament, you will find that all opposition parties, without exception, have been complaining about the lack of accountability on the part of the executive we have in this country. As well as, of course, that executive is always cushioned and protected by the majority members of the ruling party, whom I call them comrades in corruption. That transparency, lack of transparency, for instance, on Eskom and the ruling party, they have failed up to this stage to tell us how did they partner with Hitachi through Chancellor House without involving other companies. Is it true that they got 6 billion rands out of that? Is that not corruption? So the question is, the answer is opposition parties have played their role. And the voters of this country must look at the opposition parties clearly. Even the so-called, even the state of the Commission on State Capture, had it not been for the opposition, it would have not seen the light. Nobody wanted from the government that this commission must start. But the opposition, we went even to the High Court, highest court of the land. We were proud of the work we are doing. But we cannot be painted with the same brush by anybody to say Parliament is not a member. Members of Parliament are not doing their oversight. But the majority, which is laced with corruption, is causing all this mayhem you are seeing.
All right. Let's leave it there for tonight. That is UDM leader Bantu Holomisa.